Yo, what's going on, guys? Jared here. Today, I wanted to talk about the point adjustment that is going to be happening as of recording this video tomorrow. When you see this, I'll probably upload it immediately, so it should be up today. And I want to talk about some of the decks that I think should be hit, some of the cards that should be hit, but as well as some of the cards that I think should come up, or I should say cost less points. And at the same time, I want to talk about kind of like the future of Genesis format in general, because there is like a pseudo problem that I think Konami needs to deal with very quickly in the format, or else it's kind of going to be a reoccurring problem. So yeah, if you guys like the video, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this and what cards you think should be hit or unhit in Genesis format. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the list that I have written down here. So for decks that I think need to get hit, most obvious and glaring one, Vanquish Soul. Obviously, this won the first invitational for Genesis format, and this deck is just absurd. If you ever played against Genesis, or played against Vanquish Soul in Genesis, it really feels like an unfair matchup. The deck is doing so many things, so much, all the time. The fact that you can get all of your engine in with a power crept card like Holly Sue in your deck that is so accessible, as well as be able to play things like Ash or the Canine engine in the same deck. It's just ridiculous. It's way too many things. The deck produces way too many interruptions. But there is no reason why Fire King is hit more than Vanquish Soul. Like if you put those, it's just crazy to me that those two are on the same level. So that is one of the first decks I want to talk about. Another one is Exo Sister. Exo Sister is getting more support in the future of the game, I believe in the next core set. And I think that deck needs to be kind of tampered with before those new cards get here, sometime along the line. The deck is already strong in Genesis as it is. If we do not get a hit to Exo Sister before then, it could be a problem since it's already good right now. So something like Martha being worth more points, or something, or some of the Exceed monsters being worth points would be a good touch for Exo Sister. Next up is Radiant Typhoon. Obviously, this deck is a powerhouse. I've been playing it a lot, and yeah, even like once I realized that the level 3 monsters are just pretty much all Terratops, and Terratop is worth points, it makes no sense to me. Somewhere along the line, this deck needs to get hit. I do not know what needs to get, how they're going to hit it, but they definitely need to add points somewhere along the line. I think the level 3s are probably the best way to add points to them. I don't think that it needs a lot of points, just something to where you can actually have to make tough decisions in your deck building process, because right now it's like extremely easy to do, and the engine is it's just broken. You can combine the engine with a lot of different stuff. Kind of leading into that, I want to go into Goblin, because Goblin is kind of being used with Radiant Typhoon a lot, and the end board is extremely powerful. You're ending on a ridiculous amount of interruptions, and you need some kind of way to mitigate that, at least to some extent, because the Goblin cards offer a lot. They offer a lot of interruptions, a lot of disruptions, a lot of playability too, especially in a format that is only Synchro and Exceed, right? So your opponent can only be doing one of two things. Well, I guess three things if they're not playing either, but pretty much one of two things. So using the extra deck at least. So if you're playing Goblin, you already kind of have an innate advantage of just going against another Exceed deck, let alone get like that bonus of detaching off their materials is just so insane. And get your now normal summon starters can turn into extenders, or like can really be a hindrance against another decks. So I think Goblin / Radiant Typhoon needs just to be hit a little bit. A lot of these hits that I'm saying also do not have to be like these. Like I don't want these decks massacred, right? Like I want these decks playable still, but they need to not feel so just almost modern-y, like modern Yu-Gi-Oh! In a sense, right? And I'm gonna kind of get to my point about that later into the video when I talk about individual cards, because the decks just feel too strong, and I feel like the big appeal of Genesis format is a lot of the time, in my opinion, at least for people I talk to, is a lot of players who have left the game, and this feels like a breath of fresh air of being able to play a slower version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, but with modern cards. And I feel like that it needs to be regulated for people who want to come back into the game, and for the people who still play the game who want to get that feeling. So I think hitting the Goblin Radiant Typhoon deck, and with I'm going to go over kind of a rule later, but that's like one of the things that I think needs to get hit. Another deck is Draco Tail. Draco Tail, again, and Draco Tail is kind of a general problem in its sense, alongside with Canine as well I have on here. And there's actually a lot of other decks on here, but Draco Tail and Canine are like the two newest examples, I would say. Draco Tail just being able to essentially, you have to make tough decisions in the deck building, but it's still just like too consistent. The problem is the individual cards are at such a stronger power level than what a lot of what the older decks are, right? Like obviously this is a power creep problem, so you have to hit the newer decks more severely than you do the older decks, because of just how stronger the individual card is. Like most modern cards are now printed with 3 to 4 effects. If you go back just a couple formats ago, we're only going back to now the cards have 2 effects, and those make big differences in gameplay overall. That also includes K9, right? Like both these decks are hit extremely hard already in Genesis, but it actually feels like it's not hit enough just because of how strong the individual card is. Like summoning something like a Jokel, just getting it on the field to be able to search for another body to then clear the Jokel, to then summon Lantern, that just gets another card, and then can go to another Exceed. Like just that line alone is so disgusting that I feel like it should be at least hindered a little bit of going for that, right? And obviously, like I said, these decks are already hit. I just want them to be added just a little bit more points. You have to make a tougher decision while deck building still. Automat is another deck that needs to get hit, in my opinion. Automat can do a lot of degenerate stuff. It is disgusting. There's a lot of cards in the Automat deck that they can make that is just insane. I think that they need to hit something along the lines of Dodo Dodo Warrior or what's it called? The Goblin level 4 monster. Any of these cards are just, they're very, very powerful. It's really, really strong. And I know that there's been, like I said, a lot of these decks you can combine too. Like I've seen Goblin, Radiant Typhoon on a mat because you can do a line where I think you go like Radiant Typhoon special, make Gabunga for Doug, get the spell, get the Goblin automat card, normal summon that, and then you get Kaga Tokage and you make Gaga Gaga Girl, and then you just go like you literally just access everything at that point. You have so much value, you have so many interruptions on your opponent's turn, and that's all off one Radiant Typhoon card. It just the bridges are like ridiculous to how strong they are. So yeah, I think that what's it called? Automat needs to get a hit in some capacity. They do have one spell card hit very heavily, but the monsters need you have to hit the monsters somewhere because they all just search each other for free. It's ridiculous. This is one that I am not certain if I want hit yet. I've played against it, and it's like causing me a lot of trouble, but I don't know if this is a me problem or the deck problem. So the deck is White Forest. White Forest has been a huge issue for me. I actually think I have a 0% win rate against this deck, because of just how many like extenders and starters and how consistent it is, especially with the new stuff. So when I'm talking about the new stuff, I'm specifically talking about the new Diabellstar monster or Diabolese monster. And Vengeance. Those cards are insane. You are able to do like Vengeance, being able to pop a card, special summon a synchro from the extra deck, which then can sometimes be the what's it called? The tuner that can then synchro again on your opponent's turn to then make Vengeance Dragon. It's just like a lot for very little. Like you're doing like a huge chain of things for not a lot, and if like one thing resolves, you just get to all of it, and your opponent has to respect literally every White Forest card because of that line existing. So I think like somewhere along the line, maybe those cards, but I'm not sold on that, but that is just like one I wanted to at least mention. The Punk cards I think are some of the best combo for synchroing in the actual format, but I will say Punk has been going down in popularity. I've noticed. I have seen less and less Punk as the format progresses. So I'm not like again completely sold on Punk being hit now as I was in the beginning of the format, but now that the format is kind of, I don't want to say solidifying a little bit, but it's definitely rounding out. Maybe Punk doesn't need to get hit that aggressively, but maybe just a couple points here and there just to make it like on the radar a little bit for deck building wise. Another deck, Archmage. Archmage is essentially free. It's crazy that this deck is like legitimately a free deck to play, and again, it's a new deck from a newer set, and the cards just do a lot, and the end board is like at least like 4 interruptions if it goes fully uninterrupted, all based off the field spell. It's very consistent within its own engine. So like it just needs, again, you need to get these decks to make some kind of tough choice in their deck building, and Archmage doesn't even have that problem at all. It's crazy that you're able to play something like Ash Blossoms in it and other like good non-engine cards. It's ridiculous. And then the last deck that I have listed on here is Mitsurugi. I know I just made a Mitsurugi video, and I say in that video like, hey, they literally banned a spell card and put another 1/1, and it still feels ridiculously strong. I don't know how you fix the problem sometimes, but somewhere in there should be some more points involved. Maybe with Habakiri himself, should have just been the hit originally. Maybe something along those lines, but I don't know. Like I don't know. Mitsu just still feels like once it's a deck where once you resolve one ritual, it just feels like the game ends. It literally just feels like the game ends as soon as it resolves, and that's not a good feeling for anyone. It's not even like a good feeling playing the deck in my opinion. It's just really, really frustrating. So that is for all of the decks that I have. Going from the decks, you may have noticed, this is kind of the little discussion topic that I wanted to talk about, is the newer deck problem. Like as Konami prints these decks, in the newer sets. Obviously, we just had I think the next one's Burst Protocol. As these new decks come out, this is going to be a consistent problem where the cards are just stronger and they're going to be too strong for the format, and they really need to stay on their game essentially to hit these decks like as they're coming out for points. I think the perfect example of this is Radiant Typhoon. Like Radiant Typhoon being 0 points is just, it's so absurd to me. Like how simple and strong this deck is, and it puts so many people in bad positions, and it's worth nothing, like 0 points. The fact that Gladiator Beast is like murdered point wise, and Radiant Typhoon can just exist is ridiculous to me. Again, it's a new format. I don't want to like blame the people who are doing this like too heavily. This is all trial and error. So obviously this is all correctable, and I hope that they take the feedback if they're watching, to heart, and not like I'm attacking them personally, their decision making. This is all trial and error, and I want the format to be good, right? We all want the same goal. The new deck problem is something that is going to be a big issue. This also applies to the new branded structure deck thing that just came out. That is, I have that listed on the individual cards that I want hit. I believe they made a blog post talking about that card actually. So it's most likely going to get hit anyway. But that was like one of my fears, was that like as they print good generic cards in new sets, or good generic decks in new sets that are just hyper consistent in their own engine, it's going to be a big problem. So I hope that they kind of keep that in line throughout Genesys's lifetime. So going into like individual cards, I already talked about the new branded spell from the deck. It's so broken. It's better than any quick play spell we have that's free in the format. So they're definitely hitting that regardless. I'm fairly certain. Dimension Shifter. I do not know. I really don't know why they feel the need to have these type of cards that are just like non-game cards. I don't get it. It's not fun. I feel like for anybody, even like the people who play them, they're like, even when I talk to them, I feel like they're just trolling. Like they're not saying that they're having a good time. Like if you're playing like against, I don't know, like a Drytron deck and you shifter them, who's having fun? There's no fun in the game regardless. So I just don't know why this card is playable. I think Shifter should be 50 points. I think that's just like an obvious 50-point card. You can cap out at 2 of it. If you want to play it, it's going to cost you a lot of points if you're going to try to turn skip people for a card like this. Now, a card that I am not certain on, this might just be a me thing. Droll and Lockbird. Droll is a card I hate. I hate Droll and Lockbird in the TCG with a burning passion. Anytime Droll and Lockbird is like playable in the TCG, I actually just think the format's terrible. For those of you who've been playing the TCG for as long as you have been, Droll and Lockbird has been playable for the past like 3 or 4 years. And that is strictly because of power creep. Every deck is so hyper consistent, is so searching constantly, and just to go to card to then get you to some disgusting end board or just some disgusting you can't play combo. It's just not fun. And Droll and Lockbird being in the format, I feel like is an indicator that like the format is just not good. That's been kind of my rule of thumb for like literally as long as I feel like this card's been played since the first time. And I really don't like it. So I hope, at least my hope, and I hope that Konami's hope is, I would like Genesys to be at a point where Droll is like borderline bad or only sided. When Droll is in like the main decks and it's like stopping like every deck in the format, like you're messing up the power creep, like the power level of the format itself. Like that is because you might as well play TCG, right? Like if Droll is needed in Genesys format, you might as well just play TCG, because Droll is just also needed in that format. We're just playing the same game, right? Like you have to open up this hand trap or you just lose going second. No, but that's not fun. Like I'm not here playing Genesys format to play like TCG light. I want to play a different format. Like it feels different, like fundamentally, not I draw, oh, I lost a die roll, they went first, I didn't open up Droll. All right, let's go next. All right, I won the die roll, they opened up Droll. All right, I pass. I don't have a Droll for them. All right, they open up comp, I'm dead. All right, anyway, good match. Like, no, I don't want those games to happen in Genesys. If that is happening, the format is too strong. So I feel like Droll should maybe be worth more. But again, Droll is like a good indicator of the format, of power level being where it is. So hopefully, I don't know, that would just be a me thing, but again, whatever. Pot of Extravagance, I know they mentioned on the blog post that it was probably going to get hit because it was literally everywhere. I mean, yeah, obviously, like why wouldn't it be everywhere? The card literally says draw 2 for free. It essentially has no downside, especially in Genesys format where like the point system has hit a lot of cards that are very, very strong. But like when you're playing like engine extra deck cards that you can just play 3 of anyway, yeah, like we're just gonna play 3 Pot of Extravagance and just play Pot of Greeds essentially for not like however many points Pot of Greed is, like 30 points or whatever. Rongo. I don't know why this card is playable. This card should be 100 points. Any card, I don't understand this. I don't understand. There is like they're smart enough to know cards that are just not fun and engaging. They even have Angel 07. You might not even know what that card is. Angel 07 is 100 points. How is Rongo not 100 points? It does not make sense to me. Like they hit it, but it's like if Rongo hits the board, it's just a bad game. It's just another example of a card that makes the game bad. Like you're just not having a good time. It's not interactive. There's no gameplay. My opponent comboed. They summoned a Rongo with X materials that is at least more than 4. I lose. I just auto lose. I'm dead next turn. I can't play. So again, this card should be 100 points. If you're committing to a Rongo, just like VFD, like I actually don't mind the what's it called? The generator deck. I actually don't mind that deck because if you are committing to that strategy, the rest of your deck is just terrible. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. Your rest of your deck can just be terrible. But like just don't make it so that like they can play Rongo plus other just good cards. It doesn't make any sense to me why this card is not 100 points. And then yeah, that's it for the individual cards that at least I think need to be hit in some kind of capacity for now. If I missed anything in both of those lists, please let me know in the comments below because I might have skimmed over a few and missed them. But for cards that I actually think can come down in points, this is definitely a different topic that I don't know if Konami is even considering right now. Maybe they're too worried about the power level being too high that they're not even looking at cards to come down. But overall, I think there is cards that can come down. A lot of them are actually just like very generic spell cards that are just strong, but they don't really have a combo involved in them either. Does that make sense? So I have on here Delinquent Duo. Like Delinquent Duo is 100 points. To me, at least, a 100 point card is like a game-changing card in its existence. I don't see Delinquent Duo in that way. Delinquent Duo, to me, is just like a sacky card that you can play, and you might be able to get like a +1 advantage on your opponent. You know what's another card that gets a +1 advantage on your opponent? Pot of Greed. And that card's 30 points. I don't think Delinquent Duo should be 100 points. It's crazy. I think Delinquent Duo is like a 30-point card along with Pot of Greed. The one that I think I have written on here, I'm not confident in this one, but I have Confiscation on here. I don't want it to be 0 points. I want it to be like maybe 50, something like that. Because yes, you look at your opponent's hand, which is very terrifying, and it's very like, ooh, that's big. But if you're putting 50 points into again a non-combo card, am I really that like bent over about it? Not really. I just don't like you know what I mean. Like if you're putting you're putting Confiscation next to like VFD. Those are like very, very different like cards. Like Confiscation, if you with VFD, you just can't play the game, right? You get VFD, the game's over. You like essentially just lost on the spot. Confiscation, you look at your hand, maybe they can now play around stuff, but there's an opportunity to draw into a card that can change the whole dynamic of the game. You still have to set up your interactions for your opponent in general. Like there's a lot to unpack with Confiscation. It's just a normal spell card. You can't combo into it. So I think that like a card like that doesn't need to be 100 points either. Another one I have is Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark is, I believe, like 81 points or something. And then like Toad is like 20. I feel like those numbers need to be adjusted. I feel like Toad should be like a 2 of. And then like Bahamut Shark should be a 2 of in a like maybe a different deck, or at least a 1 of. Like maybe Bahamut Shark should be like 51. And then like Toad should be like, or like, how can I word this? I want them both to be able to play that too, but I think you can. So, at least like respectively. I guess Bahamut Shark should be like 51, and then Toad should be like 50 or something like that. Because I want you to be able to play 2 Toad and Paleo. That's kind of like my thought process behind it to some extent. So yeah, maybe something along those lines. But I feel like Bahamut Shark is just way too high because you're not really summoning anything else good off of it besides Toad. So it's like whatever. Like, I don't think that card needs to be that high. Or you just increase Toad and reduce Palmatrek, up to you, whatever they want to do. But that card specifically just feels kind of bad. The last two are kind of like decks and engines. I have Gladiator Beast. Again, I don't know why, like, this deck is so high. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I think Gyzaris is like 20 points. That card was from Light of Destruction. Why is that 20 points? It's like crazy to me how expensive that card is for, it's just not that good. So I think Gladiator Beast just needs to be let loose a little bit. Like, and you can't even, like, I don't know if they forgot that, like, Link summoning isn't in the format or something. Like, Glad's combo based off Link summoning. Like, you have to link off the one fusion that abuses it and then bring it back with the spell like a million times. But if you can't link off the fusion, it just sits there. So you can't clear it. So I don't understand why it's, like, so scary. Like, why they're so scared of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing a Gladiator Beast combo, but yeah, I just feel like it's like way over hit. It's crazy how hit that deck is. And then lastly, I have the Azamina engine. I know I said I want White Forest to be more hit, but like I want like these things kind of to be able to be separated. And I want, like, obviously I want them to play, like, if you play one, you can play a small package at the other, like a very small package. But the Azamina itself, like that engine is like, it's like borderline unplayable. It's like literally you can't play it because of how many points a lot of these cards are. Like Diabell Star, Wanted, Deception, Hollow, the fusions. It's like they're like everything is points. It's and like not low either. Like everything's like at least like 20. It's crazy how high the cards are. So I think maybe just like let off a little bit to where the engine is kind of playable. Like just kind of like give us something to play with that engine would be kind of nice. I know it can get out of hand very quickly, but just like maybe just a little bit, like just minor some points. But yeah, that was the last thing that I have written down on here. If there is anything else on the format, in the format that you think I missed, leave it in the comments down below. Again, this is the points list should be coming out tomorrow, so we'll see how this affects or how this actually turns out after I make this. Of what cards are going to be adjusted and whatnot. So we'll see in the future. I'm curious of how I actually lined up a lot of these hits going into what the actual points are going to be adjusted to. So again, if you have any comments, leave them down below. Subscribe if you enjoyed for more discussions like this, and make sure to comment what you guys think. I read all the comments, so I would love to see what you guys think. And yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.